Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Age 40 Years. My name is Greg, and today we have another blind for you. Before we get started, though, just a reminder, if you would, over here on my left, your right, is a like, subscribe, and receive notifications reminder. I would appreciate it if you have enjoyed what you've seen, you want to see more, or a like is pretty minimal. If you're watching this video, is it too big of an ask for a like? And as someone who watches YouTube videos and rarely likes stuff, I have learned the importance of that. So I'm not going to harass you about it. I'm just giving you a hard time. But if you would, I'd appreciate it. A like or subscribe definitely helps. Today we have another blind on deck. This is a blind that I had said that I would do after a prior video. So if you have not watched my Bardstown Discovery Series 13 video, please go watch that one first and come back here and watch the blind. What we've got here is kind of a weird one. I really like the Discovery Series from Bardstown. It's one of my favorite releases every year. Tina at Clyde's Liquors has helped me source one of these each year. I currently have on my shelf a 10, a Bardstown Discovery 10, a Bardstown Discovery 12, and a Bardstown Discovery 13. The 13 is this year's release. I don't have an 11. I personally have been through 2 bottles of that, and I also bought my friend Phil a bottle of that when we were visiting him in Chicago just last summer. I think last summer, for a friend's wedding. And I do not have any more. It's already gone and through the system a couple times. So anyway, I would like to have that one in here. I don't have it, so I'm not going to go try and find one. That'd probably be pretty tough at this point. So instead, I'm going to do a 10, a 12, and a 13. Now, what I find interesting is generally people really like the 11 and 12. I've seen mixed emotions on the 13, like 10 or the 11 and 12 I've seen are people view them as like all-timers of the Discovery Series. They're also, if I'm correct, are more Kentucky bourbon and less from other states. Now that being said, I believe the 13 has some stuff from elsewhere. The 12, specifically on the label, and again, we'll verify when we rank the bottles, but the 12, I think, actually has Bardstown 6-year distillate in it. I don't have any notes in front of me. That's just me trying to remember off the label. If I got that right, that's pretty good. Maybe also a sign of a problem with this particular series with how much I like it. But anyway, what I find interesting is the 10-year typically does not get mentioned in the 11, 12, 13. The 11, 12, all-timers, a lot of people say the 13's really good, but not up there with the 11 and 12. And some of those before, pretty hit or miss. I mean, I can pretty consistently today find the 10-year on the shelf. So, I thought it'd be interesting to take one of the all-timers, the current year, and one that people maybe pass up and see how do they do in a blind. So that's what I've got here. I've got some 10, some 12, and some Discovery 13. Now, these are not cheap bottles. I think they're about 150, 160 bucks a bottle. I recognize that that's not an inexpensive number to spend on these. But I'm not doing this review to talk about the bottle itself. Like I said, I already reviewed the Discovery 13. What I'm really doing is just comparing the 3, right? Just trying to figure out which one do I like the best today. Could be different than the one I like the best tomorrow. Could be different than the one you like the best. But I wanted to truly blind them and see how do they stack up. Now, a couple things. My wife poured these for me, so I don't know what order they are in. This is actually notes from my last blind that I did, which was the budget blind. Appreciate it if you'd watch that one also. But packaged inside of there is the results of this blind. So I was able to actually do the Glencairns again with the snap-on clips from SLB Drinks. So if you see this one that has the Columbia Bourbon Society logo on it, don't freak out. I don't know which one's in that, and it's not set up so that it's facing me specifically. It's just that's where it was when I clipped on the B. Right? Do I have those in order? Yeah, that's where it was when I clipped on the B. I do not know what's in either of these other than that it's Bardstown Discovery Series whiskey. We'll go through all 3. We'll do a little bit of a nose, we'll do a little bit of palate and a little bit of finish, try and compare them, give you some notes, and then ultimately I'll rank the 3 like I said I would. Honestly, I would not be surprised. I know people are maybe less excited about the 10 than the 12 or the 13. I think the expectation in this blind is that the 10 will finish last. I like all 3. I would be surprised if it's not at least competitive. And what I'd also say is I'm not a professional at this, right? So there's a very good chance that my palate today might come out with the 10 on top, and cool. That's the point of this, right? Is figuring out what do you like and when, and what are the flavors and all that. So, with that, I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with A, we'll go B, we'll go C. Short blind, 3 whiskeys, probably good. Probably good for us to when I did that double oak, shout out to that video, but good Lord, 6 double oaks in there. That was a lot. That was a lot. That was a day. I think that was a 1 video and done day. But hey, had a lot of fun doing it. Also, this might be the first video I'm publishing that I don't have a hat on. Might be the first one. So this is what I look like without a hat. Gray hair, getting old, drinking whiskey. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started here with A. Check it out on the nose. That's a fantastic nose. Oaky. It's so funny. I feel like I do these, and a lot of the notes I mentioned, which, I mean, it's whiskey, right? But a lot of the notes are very similar in what I mentioned. I don't have that super refined palate. I'm more just like your average Joe that's trying to figure it out and figure out what I like. But because of that, I feel like some of these are a little repetitive, or they feel repetitive in what I'm saying. But dang it if that's not oaky. I mean, it is what it is. It's oaky. Now, the Discovery Series typically is going to have whiskeys from different distilleries, different mash bills, different ages, and different percentages in the bottle. And it's one of the things I really like is I think that Bardstown's doing an awesome job of blending these. I'm not sure who is doing that, but it's why I keep coming back to them, because I've built this level of trust. It's kind of like when you find a liquor store that does barrel picks and you really resonate with that store and the pick that they do. Same thing here. It's a higher priced blend every year, higher priced release, but they do put some good age in the bottles. The blends have some good age, and I really like the blends that they're coming up with. Now 13 is one that was, if you recall from my previous video, it is actually a finished product. So they split it and double barrel it in American and Hungarian oak barrels. So that one's a little bit unique, and that, I mean, very well could be why this one's got a little bit more of that kind of oaky flavor to it, or oaky nose to it. But it's brown sugar like crazy. The more you sit here and smell it, I'm really standing, I'm not sitting. But in general, just a pretty standard vanilla-y brown sugar oak nose. Really good. I feel like it's got some good age on it. I also feel I don't know the proof point on these per se. I'll just take a quick peek. We got the 10 is a 57.12. It's very specific. The 12 is a 57.6, and the 13 is a 55.6. So they're all within 55.4 for the 13. Sorry, they're all within. I mean, basically within 2.2% on the alcohol by volume. Proof, the highest proof on these is a 115.2, the lowest is a 110.8. So, I mean, pretty damn close. But, I mean, that's getting up. You get some whiskeys that's a barrel strength, cask strength type of thing, and handles it well. So let's go ahead and check the palate on A. That's like an oaky, leathery shoe in all the best ways. Now, that one's a little tanniny on the back end, but it's not that sweet like it was on the nose. I kind of lose some of the sweetness that you get on the nose. Just taking some notes here because I want to be deliberate in how I score these. I'm not going to score them right out of the gate. Finish on that one, yeah, a little bit tanniny. That one kind of surprised me there. Based on the nose, I thought that was going to be a real sweet finish. But to me, that one's a little bit more, just kind of like a little bit more bitter on the back end. I think that's where some of that leathery, tobacco-y kind of stuff comes in. But overall, pretty good. Pretty good start to a blind. And the finish, you know, I felt like the finish, the hug was decent. It's first drink of the day. So the hug was all right. Not overwhelming. It wasn't like rough going down, which is good. But it's just kind of the right amount of hug there. Nothing that I would say the finish was just, you know, exceptional on it. So let's go ahead and start rolling B. Again, we roll these glasses SLB style. It does make a difference on the nose. It really does. And I mean, I just challenge you to try one glass of the same thing rolled and the other one not, and just tell me if you're not getting something different. Okay. Now that's a brighter note. That's definitely a brighter, almost more youthful. Although I don't think there's a lot of youth in these blends, but that one comes out to me as just a little bit brighter, lighter, almost like a sweet tea kind of smell to it. Definitely not as oaky, not as sweet. You know, I did the blind I did recently on the budget ones, the 1792 full proof. I said that was a little bit peanutty. This one is also a little bit, it's light. I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, but you get that kind of dusty peanut. It makes me think of Texas Roadhouse, right? Is that the place where you used to be able to throw peanuts on the floor? Maybe you still can. I think they got, well, the rumor was that they got sued for that and that somebody slipped on a peanut. It's ridiculous. You could sue people for anything. But it still smells like when you go into Texas Roadhouse and there's peanuts on the floor, you got those wood floors. I mean, they should serve this one there. That's what it smells like. You got Texas Roadhouse right here. You're about to get a mediocre steak, but awesome biscuits. Man, not biscuits, rolls. But yeah, I'd say interesting nose. There's a squirrel outside my window. And he has been active lately. I think he's bearing all this stuff for the winter. Okay, so that peanutty flavor comes through more on the palate. I do get the proof on that one a little bit more. So yeah, that one I get as a little bit more peanutty, proof, a little proofier, honestly. That one's, again, they're all very close to one another. So it's not like, well, it's not like, oh, I know that that's 10 or I know that that's 12 because that is a higher proof. That doesn't really help me, but it doesn't mask it as well as A did. Also, just A's color, I don't know if you can see this, I got too many fingerprints on there now, but A's color, a good bit darker than B and C. B, pretty light really. C, kind of in between, but more towards B. But, you know, I think that try that again. Now, I can't remember if all three of these are, or if 12 and 13 are all Kentucky bourbon or not. I think they might be. But I also, it just feels like there's some Tennessee whiskey in there maybe. Tennessee or maybe some Barton, maybe some Beam in that blend. To me, I think that Tennessee whiskey and Beam product have a lot in common. Now, you might crucify me for saying that. That's okay. But that one's got like that, I don't know what I would describe it as. That peanutty flavor, that like when I eat peanuts, now here's something controversial. When I eat peanuts, I eat them with the shell. So I had this moment of, wait, did I start the recording? I did, so we're good. But when I eat peanuts, I eat them with the shell, everything, the whole thing. And that gives me like whatever that little, like, what's that little, like, I can't think of it. What do you put in a gift bag when you give somebody a gift? Anyway, that little, like, shell that's, okay, well, that's not a good way to describe a peanut. A peanut has a shell. And then inside, there's like a little shell, like tissue paper. That's what I'm thinking of. It's like almost like a brown tissue paper that's around the actual peanut itself. That's what that gives me, is that taste. The taste of that little tissue papery shell inside the shell. Not bad. Finish is good, but also that proof is like fighting back. That one is still hugging. So that one's an interesting one. I don't think that one's as good as A. I'll just say that. That is not as good as A. Let's go ahead and roll B. C. Some of these videos, even though I only have 3 whiskeys to try, get kind of long. I mean, look, we're trying one of my favorite releases that comes out, so it's allowed to be long. But what the hell are we talking about? Peanuts and squirrels and tissue paper? Kind of all over the place, huh? All right, let's give this one a go. All right, now we're back to the, so look, I said B, I like better than A. I think by a decent amount, quite frankly. And it's gonna be interesting when we reveal this, probably gonna find out that B is 13 or something. Something that I recently reviewed 13 very well. I think probably on the high end versus how some other people reviewed it. B, maybe it's 13. Who knows? Maybe it's 12, the one everybody loves. But what I'll say is I think A stands above B. And C, from a nose, comes right back in and punches, like right where it should be. That is a nose right there. Not sweet, it's almost drying. It's not as vanilla-y. You got the more butterscotch. I think in this you get a little bit more of like the spicy nose. Proof is there. You get a little bit more of the spice in it, more of that baking spice. The nutmeg. That's a really good nose. That might be the best nose. Let's see. I don't know. The brown sugar in that thing, the brown sugar and vanilla in that thing, when you come off of this, is freaking dynamite. That's tough. Now yeah. B is definitely third place for the nose. These two, I mean, that is freaking lights out. Vanilla, brown sugar, amazing. This one is more your standard bourbon affair. You got a little bit of spice in there, a little bit more butterscotch, but really good. All right, let's try it. Well, that's interesting. So I said on the nose of that one was kind of drying, and I feel like that is true in the palate. It's really quite tasty though. There's not a lot of sweetness there. It's drying, but also mouth coating. And it also has like I'm getting like a little bit of a sour component. Not in a bad way, but just kind of like a behind the scenes. Now, that comes out as dusty, drying, a little sour. Trying to think of the finish here. The finish is to me that finish is good, but like not tanniny bitter like the previous, but just the dryness makes it kind of suck the finish out of it. So I mean, I think that it's a good finish, but it's almost like the sourness is where I'm coming with the sourness is, you know, when you eat something that's kind of sour and then it leaves that like, I'll use the Sour Patch Kids for instance. You eat something sour and then it leaves that kind of lingering, how do you describe it? It's like a lingering like flatness in your mouth. That's what I got here. It's like a lingering flatness of just like, I need something to pick me up. Like that leaves me with, I need a water rinse. Now I don't have water, so I'm not gonna do that, but not bad. I mean, it's still kind of going, but I think that the way that finishes is it finishes flat. So let's try this one again. That nose, ooh, that nose is good. Palate's good. Palate's good. Sweetness. You know, I said it didn't really bring the sweetness from the nose before, I believe. Now, having that after having these two, I think it does more than these two. That being said, it's still not super sweet. All of them are more on the dry side. More of the, just kind of the more of your standard bourbon side. I think that the leathery, tobacco-y notes is that tannininess, the tanninness, chill out wind chimes, is prevalent there still. But that being said, I think that they all finish good, but I think I have my rankings. So with my last blind, I said, hey, if y'all want to play along, why don't you take a few seconds here and think what order am I gonna put them in? And we're gonna go through now backwards because I just tasted that one. We're gonna try C again, and we're gonna try B. While I do that, why don't you tell me what you think is gonna be my order? Man, this is tough. This is really tough. These are good. I mean, I know they're good. That's why I picked it. But when you put them together, what I didn't, I guess, realize is how different they really are. And they really are. All three of these are very different. They're all from different years, different blends. I get that, right? But when you start blending and you get the same people blending, sometimes I feel like those tend to land in the same camp as one another, right? They're very similar. But one of the things I love about the Discovery series is the point is discovery, right? Like discover new flavors, discover new distilleries, discover new mash bills, discover new blends. And I think that they are doing exactly that here. Okay. Man. All right. So I've got my rankings. I'm going to move these off to the side here. And I do have the clips on here, so it doesn't really matter if I mix these up. Got my trusty results from my wife, and we'll go ahead and get started. So in first place, and again, last time I did this, I went your left to your right, and that would be my right to my left. I think I'm gonna switch and go here in last left, okay? If you don't like it, I'm sorry, it's just how we're gonna do it. But I got my trusty notes here that my wife double folded for me. Appreciate her and love her. And I am gonna go ahead and start with, you know what, let's go ahead and pull these back out. No, we'll leave them. All right. In last place today, I had B. B was in last place. And B was, all right, Discovery 10. Now, color me shocked here. I'm not, but let's give a little detail on this, right? So Discovery 10 is 62% Kentucky 9-year bourbon, 18% Kentucky 13-year bourbon, 10% Georgia 10-year bourbon, and I'd be happy to, if you're curious about the mash bills, just give me a comment and I'll let you know. 8% Kentucky 6-year and 2% Tennessee 10-year. So the mash bills are on here. Look, I know that y'all know what the mash bills equate to as far as a distillery. I probably should know that. I don't. But Discovery 10, blend of Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee whiskey. Majority of it, by a long shot, 88% of it is Kentucky whiskey. Okay. So that's what I had in last place. This is probably the one everybody would expect to be in last place, and it was. So, let's see here. So B was 10. Second place, I had C. C was Discovery 12. Now, here's probably where people will argue with me. Discovery 12 is 48% Kentucky 14-year, 29% Kentucky 10-year, 15% Kentucky 10-year, and 8% Bardstown Bourbon Company Kentucky 6-year. So this is the one that, and I thought that was right, that they had actually put some of their own distillate in there. So that's pretty cool. Kudos to them for getting some of that in here. But I will say on the bourbon market, 12 is preferred. Me, apparently, in my video this year, I really liked 13, and here we are, right? So the last one, of course, A, I gave A a 4.5. When I came back to that one after drinking C, it was a no-doubter. I mean, that thing, to me, is exceptional. I think 12 is exceptional, and oddly enough, not that this is a huge surprise to anybody here, 10 was definitely a step below these two. So that being said, I bought 10 on clearance from my local store. If you can do that, do that. That is still great. But the real prize here to me is this guy. I don't think you'll find 12. I wish I had 11 for you to try, because there's a good chance 11 could be sitting right here. But 13 is a great bourbon. It's a great blend. I did not, so this one, the blend is 45% Kentucky 9-year, 22% Kentucky 9-year, different mash bill, 20% Kentucky 15-year, and 13% Kentucky 8-year. So it doesn't have as much age maybe as 12 does across the board. No, it definitely doesn't. Now 13 has the highest at 15-year, but it's only 20%. So I don't know. Somebody else smarter than me can do that math. But look, the reality here is we got great bourbon in front of us. We've got two that I would say are excellent, and I think people are sleeping on this one, and I don't think they should be. So my opinion, Discovery 13 is the one that is double barreled in American and Hungarian oak. They bring those back together when they blend it, and it's freaking good. I will probably be on the lookout for another one of those because other people aren't. And look, I would suggest that if you can find one, pick it up. I don't remember in my review if I said to back it up, but now that we've gotten into it and compared it to some of these others, I think that's the plan. So, thanks for joining me. One of my favorite releases of the year, one of my favorite distilleries. I love Bardstown. I'm not sponsored by them. I really, truly love them. I think that they do some great stuff. They continue to win blinds for me. Obviously, they're going to win this one, but great distillery. I've convinced several friends to make it a regular on their shelf to replace some other product that they were buying. And I just think it's a great entry opportunity with the Origin series, but the Discovery series, if you're looking for something a little bit more premium, hard to go wrong here. So with that, I just remind you to please drink responsibly. And as always, cheers.